Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I just finished watching Captain America: Civil War, and I would say this movie was definitely one of the best, if not the best, overall Marvel side superhero movie. I think the characters, scenes were all on point. There wasn't anything that went on too long. The humor was, very funny. It rolled with everything. There wasn't anything that was too cheesy, too slapstick. They did enough character development overall. I mean, a lot of them didn't have to have that much character development because they've already been built in. But the new characters that came in, especially with Black Panther, there was enough of backstory, and the action scenes ended up being pretty cool. There were some questions as to whether the airport fight would be worthy, would be cheesy, but it ended up being pretty good. So besides the aesthetics of the movie, I really cared about the discourse that started the Civil War comic series, and that was on the registration of heroes coming under, the global governance. And I was impressed. I would say that they went as far as they did in keeping that core discourse. Now, it wasn't as deep as I wish it could have been. I wanted it to be a little bit more academic and maybe get a little bit deeper in the back and forth. But, I would say, considering the track record of superhero movies of late, it was actually a step in the right direction. So I definitely was happy that they didn't wish-wash it. They did bring out some questions in the dialogue with Iron Man versus Captain America, Tony and stuff. So I definitely wanted more, but I will take it as it is. I will take the fact that it's just a step forward to see where it's going to go, and I hope they continue to do more of that, because those kinds of questions are necessary. I think that in that discourse, even beyond the government aspect, there was a question of right versus wrong, and casualties and harm. And for me, my immediate response in the discourse was just thinking about how they're like, oh, we need to have some sort of check and balance on us as the Avengers, because there's innocents that can die, and I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, and how is that better by government? What Hitler did was legal, right? And that was kind of the point I think that Cap makes, in that politics can change. Those who are in control can change, agendas can change, and what happens when you're being forced to do things you don't want to do. And I think that's a great point, right? Just because something is legal doesn't make it ethical or moral. They didn't go as far as using those words in the movie. I wish they did. I mean, that would have been nice, but they definitely stepped on that in the movie. And just seeing that, like, I was just sitting there like, yeah, okay, so like what? And, my replies if I was in Cap, like, so like dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing you know tens of thousands of innocent people, that's okay because it's just the government doing it, or forcibly sterilizing 65,000 people in the United States under case law Buck v. Bell, or giving black men syphilis to see airman experiments, or any other types of, there's a litany of it, but all the experiments the government's done, or a million deaths and casualties from the Iraq War, or spraying Agent Orange in Vietnam. I mean, I can go through all the different things. Those are the things that I'd be saying if I was in Cap. Like, oh, you mean like that? Like all the different atrocities. And I think that's kind of where Watchmen would come in the comic universe, for actually showing the government's harms in terms of war. But they couldn't take it that far because it still is like supposed to be a general audience kind of movie. But it was good enough. So overall, I'd say Captain America: Civil War as a complete film is one of the best ones they've had yet. Definitely is a step in the right direction for getting some sort of intellectual meat in there in terms of questioning, what governments are doing or what's right or wrong. Needs more of that, needs more depth, but I really feel like the people who are directing at Marvel are starting to get their ideas together as to what looks good, sounds good, has a good pace and flow. So it's pretty exciting stuff. So those are my 2 cents on the latest movie with Marvel, the Captain America: Civil War series, you could say, if in the comic world, but in the movie world, it just was one movie. But it was a long movie. And make sure to stay after you've seen the movie for a double epilogue. There's one that's mid credits, and there's one at the end credits. So stay for both. All right, talk to y'all, and see you later.